Hi, I want to invest 10,000 rupees per month, and I would like to know what are the investment options, especially in mutual funds.
All right, so Karthik, we have a young investor, somebody who's a student but wants to take control of how he invests for the future, and I guess wants to create a long-term wealth for himself. What is the best option for somebody who has about 10,000 rupees that they can invest every month? He seems to be wanting to invest in mutual funds. Are they the best bets to increase your wealth in the long term?
You know, it's fabulous that somebody who is so young wants to start off with a 10,000. It's almost starting off with a bang. And I think this is one of the best things that Naga is doing, and a lot of people should take advice or take heed from such a precedence. So Naga, you know, when you want to invest into the mutual funds, prima facie mutual fund is a lovely vehicle because very easily and very efficiently this investment option gives you the facility of investing in some of the best companies in the country. You also have the option of investing in other parts of the world. You also have the option of investing in fixed deposits and corporate, company deposits. You also have the option of investing in government securities, and you can also pretty much invest in gold. You know, so it's as a vehicle, by making one investment, you can go to a whole variety of different asset classes. Sooner or later, even real estate will become available through the mutual fund, or through this kind of a fund route. In a different fashion, but it will also be available. So now coming to your question, if you have 10,000 rupees, my suggestion is this. Let's divide the money into three parts, into three categories. So we want to invest about 40% of money, and this is for the benefit of others as well. So whatever is your amount of money, try and break it into three parts. For the first 40% of money, and in your specific case it is 4,000, let's invest that into a large cap fund, or which is known as a large cap scheme. There are many schemes in this category which you can see, consult your advisor, or you can do it yourself. Look at some of the research provided by some of these portals like Value Research, etc., which give you a wealth of information there, and you can take your own decisions. It's very simple. It's very easy. So 40% of your money into large cap schemes. Another 40% of your money, let's say we can put into mid cap schemes, and the remaining 20% of your money, let's put it into some sectors. Now, sectoral funds are funds which invest only in a particular sector. So let's say if you were to buy a pharmaceutical fund, then the money invested would only be into pharmaceutical companies. Example, banking fund, everything will be into banking companies. Mid caps are companies that are going to grow much faster than the larger companies, and that's the potential that they have. That's why we invest a big chunk there. And large cap companies provide stability and robustness to the portfolio. That's why we go to these large cap funds. Now, while you are investing, and for the benefit of others also, take minimum one scheme or at the maximum two schemes. So that means you can have a minimum of 3 schemes for your 40, 40 and 20, or you could sort of split that 40%, 40% and 20% into a half-half, and then do 2 mutual fund schemes for large cap, 2 for mid cap and 2 for sectoral. But don't go beyond 6 schemes, because it will get really unwieldy and very hard to manage. What we are trying to do here is that along with diversification of risk, which is what a mutual fund does for you, we are also diversifying our management risk of companies. So we are wanting the different companies to manage our money, different fund management teams to come forward and manage our savings. So which is why we try and choose this little variety and mix and match of schemes, so that one, we have a great portfolio, and second, this portfolio has the potential to create enormous amount of wealth for you. You know, by 40, 45, you will have so much money, you'll probably have many options to start your own thing, or stop investing, or even retiring early, so on and so forth. So it's fabulous that you're starting early. Go ahead and good luck.
Like Karthik, for somebody starting so early, when should one review your portfolio?
That's a good question, Naisha. What happens is a review of such portfolios should be done at least once in about 2 years' time. It's a mutual fund, it's not a stock portfolio. So you don't want to do an annual review, but once in 2 years, if you start looking at your schemes, then you get a pretty good idea of how the scheme has been managing, and you compare it with not the best scheme in the market, but you compare it with a similar category of schemes. So if you are into a large cap scheme, then you compare with the other 20 large cap schemes that are available, and then see how you are poised. But a good way to choose a good scheme would be to look at 4 stars and 5 stars rating, which would be a very simple common man way of identifying, and 99% chances you will not go wrong, because these stars are given based on very rigorous analysis which is done by some of these portals, and as a result of it, chances of you going wrong are also not very high. So therefore, SIPs, do a disciplined investment. They make you make a commitment. Of course, it's voluntary, but try and not miss it, so that, you know, once you miss it, then everything goes haywire, and then that becomes a habit, and sometimes SIP will also get closed, and you will not make the kind of return. But once you're doing this SIP, the most important thing to remember is that you will have to have a time frame of at least about 8 to 10 years, because if you have any time frame which is less than that, you might not be able to enjoy the 2 cycles or 3 cycles of you know, growth and troughs that we will see over every 3-4 years. We keep seeing such cycles happening, but you need to go through 2 or 3 cycles, and that's the time you will see the power of compounding and the power of such an SIP investment.
All